Have you ever felt different from the people around you? Not necessarily better, not necessarily worse, just different. Maybe you've never quite fit into a group. Maybe you've always felt like you see the world a little differently. Or perhaps you've spent years wondering why other people seem to think, act, and react in ways that don't make sense to you. Psychology suggests that people who feel different often share certain personality traits and mental patterns. And, interestingly, the feeling of being different isn't always caused by isolation. Sometimes it's caused by awareness. Here are 7 traits commonly found in people who often feel different from those around them. 1. They spend more time observing than participating. Many people who feel different are natural observers. Instead of immediately joining conversations, they watch. They notice social dynamics. They pay attention to behavior. They often understand a room before they speak in it. Psychologists sometimes connect this behavior to heightened self-awareness and pattern recognition. While others are focused on participating, they're often focused on understanding. 2. They think about things more deeply. Most people move on quickly from everyday experiences, but deep thinkers often don't. A simple conversation can stay in their mind for hours. A strange interaction can become a puzzle. A casual comment can trigger reflection. Their brain naturally looks beneath the surface. Not because they're trying to complicate life, but because their mind is wired to search for meaning. 3. They often feel misunderstood. One of the most common experiences among people who feel different is feeling misunderstood. Not because others dislike them, but because they often struggle to explain what they're thinking. Complex thoughts don't always fit into simple conversations. As a result, they may keep large parts of themselves private, not out of secrecy, but because explaining everything feels impossible. 4. They notice contradictions others ignore. People who feel different often see inconsistencies. They notice when actions don't match words, when behavior doesn't match intentions, when something simply feels off. Psychologists sometimes associate this with stronger analytical processing. Their brain naturally compares information and looks for patterns, which can make them highly insightful, but it can also make everyday situations feel more complicated. 5. They need more time alone. Solitude isn't always loneliness. For many people who feel different, alone time is where clarity happens. It's where they process experiences, reflect on ideas, and recharge mentally. Research has often linked reflective thinking with a greater need for uninterrupted mental space. Their brain simply functions better when it occasionally steps away from noise. 6. They question things most people accept. Many people are comfortable accepting things as they are, but people who feel different often ask, why? Why do people behave this way? Why is this considered normal? Why do we believe this? Their curiosity extends beyond information. It extends into understanding. And that constant questioning often separates them from the crowd. 7. They search for meaning more than approval. Perhaps the biggest difference is this. Most people spend a lot of energy trying to fit in. People who feel different often spend more energy trying to understand. They care less about popularity and more about meaning. Less about being accepted and more about being authentic. This doesn't make them better than anyone else, but it often makes their path look different. The strange thing is, many people spend years trying to stop feeling different. They assume something is wrong with them. But psychology suggests that many of the traits behind feeling different are also connected to self-awareness, curiosity, independent thinking, emotional depth, pattern recognition. The feeling of being different isn't always a sign that you don't belong. Sometimes it's a sign that your mind processes the world in a unique way. And perhaps the goal isn't to become more like everyone else. Perhaps it's learning to understand yourself a little better. Because sometimes, the people who feel different are simply seeing something others don't. If you recognized yourself in several of these traits, you're probably not alone. Subscribe for more psychology videos exploring the hidden patterns shaping how people think, feel, and behave. Because sometimes, your mind is playing you.